Do you want to hit shots like this?
Au revoir, frérot. Next.
Hey guys, Happy New Year. If you don't know who I am, I'm Konpeki, and I'm a Radiant coach who's been coaching this game since episode 1. And since then, I have been helping hundreds of students rank up inside of my coaching program. And today in this video, I wanted to do an updated guide on how to Counter Strafe. That was one of the first Valorant guides that I made on this channel, and I thought it's time for an update. So let's get started. Alright, so the term Counter Strafing came from the game of Counter-Strike, and it was a term that was used to describe a mechanic where essentially players would be able to tap the opposite direction key of wherever they were moving in order to cancel out the player's movement and be able to shoot accurately. The reason why this existed was because in a game of Counter-Strike, whenever you would let go of the direction key, your character would still have some momentum and it would continue to move even after you've let go of the keys, just as if they had ice skates on. In a game of Valorant though, the need to counter strafe every time you peek around a corner isn't that necessary because there's a very little difference when it comes to actually just peeking and then letting go of the key versus peeking and then tapping the other direction key in order for you to stop and shoot accurately. However, the act of counter strafing allows you to do one really important mechanic in this game, and it's actually being able to shoot during the dead zone of your character's movement. And this dead zone refers to the window of time when your character's velocity goes to 0 in between changes of opposite direction. So as you can see right now, I have movement error turned on from my crosshair, and when we move, we can see that our gun is inaccurate when we're moving, but in between the changes of my direction, the character's velocity goes to 0. In this game, your gun's precision is determined by your character's velocity. So if your character's velocity is 0, then your gun's going to be accurate. So let's refer to the point that I'm standing here right now as the anchor point. And if we were to move to the right, that means my character has positive velocity. And if I were to move to the left, then my character has negative velocity. And in between going plus and minus, right, the velocity has to go to 0 at one point. It's like if I were to throw a ball up in the air, there's going to be a moment of time for a split second when the ball is not moving at all before it falls down. And as you can see right here on the right hand side on the shooting error, if we just completely stand still and shoot, it's 0.25 degrees. And that actually correlates to your first bullet accuracy right here, where it shows the first shot spread is 0.25. So if I'm to stand still, it's 0.25. If I'm to counter strafe, it's also 0.25. And so we can do that right here behind the wall. And boom, as you can see, all my shots 0.25, which means my shots were completely accurate. And now let me show you how you can learn how to counter strafe. Go to the range, and I would go to your crosshair settings and turn on movement error, so that way as you move, you can see when your gun is inaccurate and when it is accurate in between your changes in opposite direction. At level 1, you just want to start from this distance, and each time we're just going to decrease it by half. Okay, and we're constantly moving left and right. We're not going to stop at all. Right, I'm not doing this, but I'm constantly moving, okay? And this is level 3. And level 4, now we're just tracking the same spot, okay? And once you pretty much got this timing down, you can go back and turn off movement error. And you can go behind this pole, and you can practice just getting the timing of your shots again, just as if you were about to peek around a corner. And again, I'm just pre-aiming each time. Okay, I'm pre-aiming, peeking, jiggle peeking. And this does require a little bit of mouse movement so that you just pre-aim the spot and slightly micro-adjust so that the tip of your peek does end up where the target is. So now that we know that this mechanic exists in the game, let's talk about how we can start applying it in in-game scenarios. What you can do with counter strafing is you're actually able to shoot accurately in between your jiggle peeks. So when we change directions, our gun is accurate for a split second. And so if we practice this mechanic and we're able to allow the tip of our peeks to be that same window of time when our gun is hitting the dead zone, then we're going to be able to shoot accurately in between our peaks. Then you can apply the same skill to be able to slice the pie and clear angles a lot safely. This is how a lot of players in lower elo tend to peek and clear angles. You're just exposing yourself to way too many different off angles. If you saw my peeking guide, you know that common angles like this are followed up by off angles. which are all these angles right here. If you just haphazardly peek around this corner like this, your crosshair is not ready for an enemy that could be standing there. A great way to be able to peek and clear all these angles safely is by slicing the pie, which means you just peek a little bit at a time by pre-aiming these angles, right? I'm moving my mouse to the right before I peek out. But there's an issue with this, because if someone is holding you there and you're not completely ready to take that fight, or let's say someone's holding you with an op and your crosshair placement's even a little bit off, and you peek like this or like this, and someone's holding you, you're just gonna instantly die. And using this method will cause you to clear angles a lot slower, but it's the safest option. And it's by being able to jiggle peek in and out of corners. And if someone is there, because now you know how to shoot accurately while you're jiggle peeking, you can get your shots off accurately. Notice how I'm peeking out, but I'm going back into cover, and I'm gonna pre-aim again and peek a little wider, 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 wider. And this is what it looks like sped up. Notice how all those shots were accurate. By doing this, you're going to make yourself so much harder to hit if someone is holding that off angle on you. And you can get back into cover, you can get ready to throw your abilities out to kill this guy, or you can have your teammate also use that info to use their util on them. I want to talk about how we can also use this mechanic of counter strafing to be able to shoot accurately as we flick and as we strafe. As you see in this clip, I'm getting pinched from both CT and garage. So I'm going to make use of the default box and jiggle peek back and forth between the left side and the right side so that I don't get pinched from both sides. And as you can see, the spot that I'm pre-aiming isn't going to be right on the target. But because I know the timing of when my shots are accurately between my jiggle peeks, I'm able to still flick really quickly and hit a couple shots before moving back into cover. And then I do the same thing on the right side. And the way I practice counter strafing is just by adding flicks onto the level 4 counter strafing drill that I showed earlier. And this is what it looks like. So I'm constantly just moving back and forth left and right while trying to shoot as accurately as possible in the middle of my flicks. The last way that you can incorporate counter strafing to be able to shoot accurately while you're jiggle peeking is when you are using scoped weapons. So a lot of times people say I suck using the operator or I suck using the marshal because my shots never hit for whatever reason. And that's because the same velocity mechanic applies to scoped weapons. Learning this mechanic is super important for you if you're trying to op, because when you are scoped in, your movement speed is significantly decreased. So it is even more important for you to be able to get back into cover as soon as possible after taking your first shot. And this is what your peaks can look like if you get this mechanic down. And now you can even add some flicks to your movement as well. Now that I share with you guys all those examples of counter strafing and how to practice it, I hope you guys can see how important it is for you to actually go in the range and try it out yourselves. And if you enjoyed this video, please like the video and even share it with your friends if you think they'll find it helpful as well. And subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content like this. And if you think you need more hands-on help from me and my team of Radiant coaches who can help you rank up 5 divisions in 6 weeks, message me the word strafe on my Discord server in the description below. Thanks for watching.